CSIR Siri, working as principal scientist in the area of control instrumentation systems, especially for development of assistive technologies, robotics, and agricultural devices. My area of research is intelligent instrumentation control system and assistive technologies. The main motivation of my research is mainly focused on not only R&D and prototype development, but it involved development of technology, enabling those technologies to take it to the production or manufacturing level. We are associated with giving support and help end-to-end solutions to the industry through our proper channel of procedures. So I'll be speaking about future of science, technology, innovation. What are the skills, methods, techniques, and works needed to be done? I'll be giving one slide on building Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas. This slide is prepared based on the speech given by our honorable former DG, Dr. Raghunath Masherkar. All of you are aware the great personality who contributed immensely in Indian research, especially in CSIR department. He proposed 5 pillars. What are those 5 pillars for building Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas? Then reinventions. What are the key factors which are needed for reinventing? What is the importance of innovation in our research? Are we going with Make in India as only assembling in India? Or we have to reinvent devices to get more and more technologies and generate revenues which is needed for the development of our country. What are the aspects of innovation, science, and technology? And subsequently, I'll be focusing on what are the different techniques or different technologies on which our team worked since last 16 to 7 years. We will see them in depth, design, development, and their innovations. Those are development of electronic nodes, gas sensor systems, photo tracking robot, automations in water purification and recycling, and assistive technologies. Future of science, technology, and innovations need skills. And what are those skills needed to be learned, implemented, and practiced? Those skills are mainly associated with learning basics of artificial intelligence, automation, and IoT. As these are associated with our subject research, so I have brought them out over here on this slide. So artificial intelligence is needed in our day-to-day developmental activities. Earlier, we were developing devices, deriving prototypes based on conventional microcontrollers. Those were associated with data acquisition, getting the data, storing it onto the memory, then displaying it onto some LCD display, and then giving some alarm. Now it is a time to incorporate artificial intelligence onto the microcontroller or any device, any computing device, which can on itself give the decision. Either it would be the alarm or taking the action or informing the maintenance people or giving the alert, especially in the disaster management section. Few of the examples are drone-based surveillance and deliveries. These are mainly useful, as all of you are aware, during the COVID pandemic. IIT Kanpur, they took initiative to supply vaccines in hilly regions of India. This is the best example of drone, and those drones operated based on the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence and drone-based systems or any robotic system or any human emulated system requires three important things: monitoring, identification, and decision making. All these are associated with artificial intelligence. And another example I would like to share over here is the face recognition based attendance system, which is indigenously developed in our CSR series. Earlier, we had manual signing of the attendance on the register, but that kind of attendance system had lots of difficulties. And after this pandemic, a non-invasive or you know a mechanism was developed by our own scientists, which is enabling the face recognition based attendance mechanism for all employees, permanent staff, students, and contract workers. It is enabling the attendance as well as keeping their records automatically, and it is linked with their leads. And a database and statistical analysis is also available. How many staffs are available in the institute and their entry and exit timings. Dear friends, the technology is growing, and our Honorable Director General, he encouraged our scientist team to implement these prototypes of FRAS on in different CSIR laboratories, and almost 5 to 6 laboratories have initiated and implemented this FRAS system. Next is automation and IoT. Automation is there since long years. It is widely used and well-known technologies. Now, with the era of 3G, 4G, and 5G, Internet of Things are also associating with these automations, and which is widely known as Industry 4 and 401, 402 technologies. Automations in industries like car manufacturing, bike manufacturing, medical sectors, then consumer sectors, these automations are well known, but those automations were using conventional PLCs for manufacturing different products. Now, these automation units are monitored and decisions are taken with the help of IoT and Industry 4 technologies. Few of the water purification and recycling plants, smart material devices and systems, food supply chains are the examples of automations which we performed in our CSR series. The next comes the automation in assisted technologies, which is mainly required in railways, bus stations, airports, and consumer markets. So, if your mobile devices are associated with Internet of Things and used by end users like disabled and elderly people, even ladies, women, end user, then it would be certainly useful to get the help and to get the information about the location, where and how to go, what are the timings of railways, any delay in the railway, any delay in airline, any delay in bus. So these are the very useful technologies which we are using our day-to-day life. Before using these technologies, what do we know about it? We should know about how to use them, how to use them in our projects so as it will fulfill the end user requirements. So what are the different hardware needed? What are the different technologies available in the market? How long those technologies would support to keep the life cycle of the product, design product? How long? How would be the production cycle of that particular device based on the selected hardware, software, mechanical components, and availability of the supply chain of the components. If one of these things are disrupted or not available in the market, then the product cost would go up, or company has to declare product as obsolete. So most of the IC manufacturers, they provide information about its product cycle along with their data sheets in their manuals. So before designing any prototype, any device, one has to take care of availability of the components, availability of the software support, and availability of the supply chain, end-to-end supply chain. Now coming to the building Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas. In one of the speeches of Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar sir, he gave excellent information, excellent guidance about importance of innovation, research, innovation in our country. Our Honorable Prime Minister announced Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India. However, Raghunath Mashelkar sir, he was insisting about making India means assembling in India. If we only keep assembling and trading these devices in India, then we would not get return of investment as we desire. And to overcome that thing, we have to invent in India. We have to make innovations. We have to reinvent the devices. And as a part of this, he shared one example of mobile phones. As all of you are aware, mobile phones like Carbon Mobile, Lava, these were these phones were introduced in Indian market 5 to 6 years back. Dear friends, dear colleagues, as all of you are aware, during 5 to 6 years, their market share was around 45%. On the other side, Chinese mobiles like Vivo, Xiaomi, Realme, these mobiles, their market share were around 5 to 8%. But after 5 years, in today's day, Carbon and Lava mobiles, they focused only on assembly in India. They were collecting the components and assembling in India. And hence, today, their market share has gone down from 45% to 8 to 9%. On the other side, Chinese people, Chinese industrialists, they kept reinventing. They brought in many features, many capabilities, key features in their mobiles and introduced them in India, in not only in India but in other countries. And today, those mobiles, they had 8 to 9% of market share 5 to 6 years back. Today, their market share is 65% in India. What did they do? They not only assembled, they kept inventing, innovating. They brought in what are the requirements of end users. They incorporated it, they invite those things in their mobiles, and they become the key players in the market. So, dear friends, innovation plays important role along with the research. Research gives you or research transforms your money into knowledge. However, innovation transforms your knowledge into money. So one has to focus on innovation, which can transform your technology. You have talent, but those technologies must be taken by the industries for the production and manufacturing level. And what is needed after development of technology is to build the relationship and trust between innovator, professors, scientists, researchers, through your organization, proper channel to the industry. Once this cycle is completed, I'm sure, strongly believe, we would be not only assembling in India, but we will be inventing, reinventing, and developing products which will be manufactured in India. With this, Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar proposed 5 pillars which strengthens building Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmavishwas. What are those 5 pillars? First one is buy, second one is make. Third, buy to make to buy better, and both together. Buy and make, these things are very well known. If you have money, you can buy technologies, you can buy components and make them. Then why buy to make better? He shares one example of Rahul Bajaj. Mr. Rahul Bajaj imports various devices and components from China, which is costing $5,000, 5,000 crore, $5,000 or 5,000 crore. On the other side, he is making bikes, scooters, and exporting them, which is costing 15,000 crore. So this is the buy to make better. Now, make to buy better. What is this concept? This concept is associated with the technologies which were denied by other countries, and the best example is supercomputer. Indians or India wanted to have supercomputer capability in our country for research purpose, but during that time, USA and other countries, they denied to give that technology by having the fear that India would use that technology for the making of nuclear weapons. Then our Honorable Prime Minister led Rajiv Gandhi organized one committee of renowned scientists, and they took challenge to make supercomputer indigenously in our country. And after making of supercomputer in India, other countries, those were denying to give technologies to India, they came forward to give the technology. So if you make in India, if you make technologies, it will enable others to sell their products or to give their technologies. This is the capability one has to learn. And if we have buy and make these together, then definitely, as Raghunath Mashelkar sir, she suggests, we will innovate, develop technologies and give it to the industries so that they can manufacture and make a transformation in our country. It is the right time. COVID pandemic enabled us to rethink, rebuild our country. And what is needed, these are the 5 pillars which are needed to build our country with Atma Vishwas. To strengthen our technology, we need innovation, design, and development, which one has to incorporate in their research and development. Along with focusing on your research publication, one has to focus on their patents, copyrights, transforming their research into the products to the production level. With this short introduction of Atmanirbhar Bharat and 5 pillars, I am moving towards the case studies of the research work which we are performing in our laboratory. During the first session, I'll be focusing on development of electronic nose, odor tracking robot, and gas sensor systems, which our team worked since last few years. What are the research, development, and technologies which we developed with the help of our team and scientists in Siri Pilani as well as during my PhD research in University of Pune. Pravinji, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, is it going smoothly?
Yes, sir, it is going smoothly. Yes.
Great, excellent. So first research was done as a part of my PhD work was electronic nose. It was based on embedded technology and neural network. I started my PhD during 2003, and after my MSc degree, I was searching or I was making decision whether to go and work with industry or to go in the research. And during that time, some of my senses enabled me to take decision to enter in a research, which enabled me to complete my PhD research from University of Pune on the topic electronic nose based on embedded technology and neural network. It was aimed at development of PC-based electronic nose and converting that PC-based experimental setup into a prototype of embedded electronic nose, which would be small, lightweight, low cost, and low power. These are the basic things which we used for making of the prototype. But main purpose was to have the prototype with features embedded inside embedded inside the electronic nose, which is capable of detecting food freshness and detecting the tracking of the odor, which is needed mainly in various industrial challenges, solving the challenges. As a part of this study, we performed applicability of using electronic nose for the detection of alcohol and their quantification, along with the food freshness detection. This is the basic block diagram of the electronic nose, which is emulating artificial olfaction, which is based on sensory array, preprocessors, and pattern recognition engine. These three blocks are incorporated onto the artificial olfaction, which is the electronic nose based on the human olfaction, which is mimicking the sense of smell in device or electronic system. So electronic nose is operated in three modes. First one is the training mode, identify mode, and purge mode. These are the modes which are incorporated for the proper functioning and operation of the electronic nose. In training mode, device is trained with the help of PC-based eNose by exposing it to the known samples. During the identify mode, the device or electronic nose is exposed to the unknown sample for detection of its freshness or quantification. During the purge mode, it is used for cleaning of the any cylinder or any chamber along with the gas sensors. So here the concept used was mainly based on training your embedded electronic nose with the help of the PC-based system, wherein AI or machine learning technique learn the pattern of the odor, and then that odor pattern is downloaded onto the microcontroller for detection of the unknown sample. This is the prototype of the gas sensor mechanism along with the flow injection system, which is developed during the research. This is the experimental setup of the PC-based electronic nose, and the block diagram is shown along with the embedded electronic nose. The PC-based eNose is working with a software developed indigenously for data acquisition, signal preprocessing, and learning the odor patterns based on the artificial neural networks. These were developed indigenously in software to interface with the embedded electronic nose. This is the uh, prototype of embedded electronic nose based on microcontroller. The middle image shows the indigenously designed prototype circuit, electronic circuit of the eNose. The left hand side shows the portable eNose setup, complete setup, and the prototype. And their specifications are shown over here. As I mentioned earlier, during that time, around 2006, 7, and 8, we were using 8051 microcontroller. And during that time, we had used backpropagation neural network for the detection of various patterns of the smells and odors and incorporated into this as a product technology. Now, with the advancement of the uh, Internet of Things, these electronic nodes can be interfaced with the IoT. Various electronic nodes can be interfaced with the IoTs for monitoring as well as analytics purpose of various odors emanating from various industries and various places in our country as well as outside country. This is the neural network architecture which we developed for the detection of alcohol samples. Figure shows the feed-forward network which is developed and implemented for the detection of various concentrations of ethanol, methanol, and propanol, and their performance analysis is tabulated in the table. The work developed in University of Pune was presented in one of the international conference held in Boston University during 2007. In conclusion, during the PhD research, we could able to develop experimental setup of PC-based electronic nodes, prototype of embedded electronic nodes, and its functionality and various operations were tested for food freshness detection as well as alcohol qualification and quantification. The research performed was presented in various journals as well as international and national conferences. Now we will be moving towards development of mobile order tracking robot based on embedded technology. As I mentioned earlier, we developed electronic nodes as a part of research, and then we transformed that electronic nodes prototype onto a mobile platform to track the odor, which is essentially needed in various industries for detection of, let us say, explosives or detection of any hazardous or toxic gases emanating from various places. The concept was very simple. The electronic nose was interfaced with the mobile platform, and it was programmed in such a way that it was detecting odors coming from different directions, and capability incorporated in the form of algorithm onto the microcontroller, which was enabling the detection of the odor as well as smell and giving the actuations to the motors fitted onto the robot. So this was the concept with which we started this activity, and we developed a prototype of odor tracking robot, which was based on the indigenously designed hardware based on Atmega 32. It has interface of A to D converters for interfacing different gas sensors and their signal conditioning. It has interface to the motor driver circuits and on-chip algorithm, execution of the algorithm for tracking the sensing the odors coming from different directions, making the decisions and giving the actuations to the motors of the mobile robot. So this is the driver circuit which we developed in during that time, and an algorithm subroutine modules such as sensor A to D signal conversion, heater and fan control, motor control, LCD, keypad, serial data acquisition, and odor tracking algorithms were developed during that time in C language and incorporated onto the embedded system. And a program execution in odor tracking robot is successfully tested and demonstrated in our laboratory. So these two slides are highlighting the tracking, sensing the data of the odors coming from different directions with the help of gas sensor, and processing that data with the help of navigation algorithm implemented onto the mobile odor tracking robot. The robot was developed, prototype was developed successfully and tested in our laboratory with the help of some perfume odor source activated at 4 different locations, one after another. Two obstacles were placed in the approximate path of the robot, and it was allowed to pass through. It could detect the obstacles as well as track the odors as mentioned in the trajectory path. This is the prototype of the skeleton of the robot as well as the final prototype of the odor tracking robot. It was presented in one of the IDN Expo during 2009, and Ministry of Science and Technology Germany, they invited our team to participate thereupon for 10 days. This developed prototype in one of the university laboratory. German ministry, they invited our team to demonstrate this prototype to their students aged between 6 to 14. What kind of motivation, inspiration they were giving their students to see such kind of robots are also there, researchers are inventing, and they were encouraging their students to grab their attention, generate interest in them, to attract them towards the research, development, design, technology development at the early age. So these are the publications which we could get based on the research performed on odor tracking robot. So we have another 4 minutes before the break, and I would be giving you the glimpses of the gas sensor system based on IoT for environment monitoring. This was the technology developed in CSIR series during 2016 to 2019 as a part of CSIR's FTT project. Two teams in CSIR series worked on this project. One is from semiconductor team developed indigenous gas sensors, and another team electronic circuit development. Electronic circuit development team developed readout electronics, algorithms, and final prototype. The gas sensor system was based on MOX gas sensors, which changes resistance on exposure to target gas, which requires accurate measurement electronics. These sensors show high sensitivity to target gas at specific temperature provided by an integrated microheater and closed loop temperature control. Multi-node gas detection systems are required for public and industrial environment monitoring along with remote data logging capability. The project was initiated for the monitoring of environmental gases such as ammonia, H2S, and CO. Our team worked hard to develop the prototype and technology for the indigenization of monitoring of gases, various gases in environment. These are the few of the specifications of the developed prototype of the gas sensor system. Gas, as I mentioned earlier, gas sensor is based on MEMS technology, capability which CSIR series has to fabricate and develop and test in CSIR series, and target was to develop the gas sensors for ammonia, CO, and H2S. This is the prototype of the gas sensor interface electronics and handheld display. As I mentioned earlier, we focused on readout electronics, which was consisting of interfacing gas sensor, making signal conditioning, developing the algorithms of the decision making, and transmitting the data onto the IoT platform. And this is the prototype of the wall mount gas sensor system developed in our series. These are the few of the experimental results which were performed with the help of gas sensor system in our laboratory. It is exposed to ammonia with different concentrations, and ammonia concentration versus resistance versus alarm plots are shown over here. Extensive laboratory testings were performed with the help of gas sensor systems. A small program on PC was developed for recording of the data for the further development of closed loop control system needed for the microheater embedded inside the gas sensor and measurement of the resistance. These are the plots of the algorithm output comparison with the sensor resistance. It is the baseline characterization which we performed in our laboratory. These are the same plots. Again, these plots are showing the baseline characterization, and here we are showing the actual exposure of the ammonia gas to the gas sensor and their detection limits. If you see on exposure of the gas of ammonia to the gas sensor, our prototype could able to detect and give the alarm, and those alarms were recorded with the help of data acquisition system, which is indigenously developed. So this is the response of the another algorithm which we developed in our laboratory for the detection of ammonia. These are the major applications, advantages, and status of the development in our CSIR series. So major applications are involving industries, manufacturing, and offices where multiple sensors need to be developed, which can be connected and monitored wirelessly from control room. Industrial environment monitoring where portable personal gas monitoring systems are required. Status of development is mentioned over here. We could develop the prototype and transfer the technology to one of the industries, Delhi-based industries, that is the Macmillan Private India Private Limited. And the advantage of the system is to improve quality of the life of industrial worker by using personalized gas sensors and environmental monitoring, which could help reduce the manpower requirements, continuous data recording, centralized monitoring and control of large area users. Our team could develop IoT platform for interfacing multiple nodes of gas sensor system to the control room, which were placed, implemented in various departments or sections of the CSR series. Those gas sensor nodes were sending data to the control room, which was then subsequently displayed onto the dashboard and published onto the web server. These are the few of the publications which our team could able to get out of their research performed on gas sensor system for environmental monitoring. One is IEEE Sensor Journal and another one is Microsyst Technology. Dear friends, as I mentioned earlier and guided by Professor Devsarkar sir, individual work could not achieve the success. Yes, we have to work in a team. We have to work and see different aspects of the prototype in research and during the invention. We have to learn, we have to implement and keep practicing to take these research, convert them into technology and then the production level. Dear friends, it's time for a break. Praveen sir,
Yes, sir.
over to you for break of 10 minutes and then we will
Yes.
reassemble at 11:35 sharply.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We'll take a 10 minutes of break. All the participants, please note, and we'll again join after 10 minutes.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Hello,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Praveen ji.
Yes, sir. You can start now. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's 11:35, and let's respect time and should start now.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Please start, sir. Please.
Yeah, I'm sharing my slide.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, great, excellent. Dear friends, in the second session of this class, I'll be focusing on various developments, technology developments, which we performed in CSR series, mainly associated with water purification and recycling, then smart materials actuator, and lastly, we will be discussing on development of assistive technologies. So let's begin with remotely monitored and controlled high capacity RO plant for desalination of seawater. This was the project sponsored by DST during 2011, and it was jointly between CSM CRI Bhavnagar and CSIR Siri. Both teams worked together to develop the prototype and technology of the desalination of seawater. It was aimed at design and development of automation for high capacity RO plant for desalination of seawater. Its capacity was 6,000 liters per hour. Siri team developed automation, indigenous embedded system, which was remotely monitoring and controlling the water purification plant installed at CSMCRI Bhavnagar. CSMCRI Bhavnagar team indigenously developed water purification RO membranes based on their invented technology based on fiber optics, and Siri team developed embedded monitoring and control system based on microchip stick microcontroller and other IoT devices like internet toolboxes in MATLAB and LabVIEW and Zigbee protocol. This was the RO plant for desalination of seawater blocks. PNID diagram shown over here. It was assembled, fabricated, and constructed, as I mentioned earlier, in one of the CSIR's laboratory in Bhavnagar. It was remotely monitoring and controlling with the help of indigenously developed embedded controller unit, relay unit, and embedded controller software developed using LabVIEW and PIC microcontroller. Monitoring parameters were conductivity, TDS of the water, pH, pressure, temperature, flow, and turbidity. Controlling devices and elements were ball valves, booster pump, high pressure pump, proportional pump. Dear friends, I would like to say over here with immense pleasure that we could not only monitor the plant, we could generate control remotely with the help of developed system. As all of you are aware, monitoring with the help of IoT devices is very simple task. Or all the devices are well organized and available. But developing electronics, interfacing it with IoT platforms, and generating the control remotely by sitting in the CSIR series, 1500 kilometers laboratory and plant situated in Bhavnagar, controlling that plant by sitting in the CSIR series or anywhere in the world was the great success of this project. Our team worked hard. They put in all their perseverance and passion to develop this technology. This is the peak of the RO membrane assembled and stacked in parallel and series combination for deriving the two-stage desalination of seawater purification RO plant. This plant is controlled with the help of automation developed by CSR Siri, and you can see various blocks of the plant. Arrows are not visible, I'm sorry for that, but you can see, let me check, pointer over here. Yes, correct. So these are the RO membranes stacked in parallel and series combination, fitted in 2 stages. These are the various pumps fitted. These are the flow sensors. Other conductivity, pH, and turbidity sensors are mounted over here, which I will be showing in the next slide. And if you see, this is the bus wherein RO plant is fitted, not this one, but a regular RO plant is fitted, and this bus is used to send anywhere in India for the purification during the flood or any disaster happens in India. This is the key one can say modality of our CSIR's development, which is shown over here. Another platform, experimental platform for the RO automation based on Linux Qt system for monitoring and controlling of desalination of seawater was also developed. The purpose was to use the platforms which are open source. Here we used Linux based platform data acquisition systems for monitoring and controlling of the desalination of seawater. I'm sharing different platforms which are either based on open source or which are based on the commercially available developmental platforms like Microchip's products or LabVIEW and MATLAB products. These products have their own advantages and drawbacks, and it completely depends on the bill of material of the development of the product, their usages, and their licenses. This is the embedded electronic controller which was designed for controlling, monitoring of this desalination of RO plant. So if you see, this is the relay controller which was controlling various valves, pumps, motors fitted into the RO plant. The embedded microcontroller along with the sensor signal conditioning and different drivers, relay drivers were fitted inside this box, and these are the various transmitters and their interfaces made with the sensor electrodes which were fitted onto the plant as well as fitted onto this mobile platform. You can see their wiring diagrams, their small chamber for collecting the raw water, monitoring it, then flushing it, then collecting the clean water, monitoring it, and flushing it. It is the cycle which we used for monitoring the parameters of the water. These are the responses which were obtained for the product water, clean water, and the reject water. These are the flow versus pressure plots which we obtained for understanding the performance of the RO membrane used for desalination of the seawater. It is the relationship between flow and pressure parameters, as I mentioned earlier, for the clean and reject waters. These are the few of the parameters of the water which we could record with the help of embedded controller. The recordings were for conductivity, TDS, temperature, pH, conductivity, TDS, and turbidity. And this is the dashboard which we developed with the help of LabVIEW software onto the PC, which was interfaced with the embedded microcontroller. Embedded microcontroller were acquiring the data from all the sensors, processing it, and transmitting it onto the IoT platform which was interfaced with the control room's dashboard with the help of LabVIEW Internet of Things toolboxes. So on the dashboard, if you could able to see, it is showing various parameters of the sensors, then recorded data and RO modes of operation for the controlling. So second peak is showing about the data recorded. This is then subsequently ported onto the Excel file with date and timestamp. And these peaks are showing the remote monitoring and remote controlling of the plant in different modes with the help of Internet Toolbox incorporated into the LabVIEW software. So right hand peak is showing operating the plant from the Internet Explorer, and left hand peak is showing controlling of the plant onto the dashboard. So this is the technology I shared with you for remotely monitoring and controlling of any water purification and recycling plant. The technology which we developed and demonstrated almost 10 years back with the advent of new open source platforms like Linux, Python, TensorFlow, data processing, and statistical toolboxes. We can develop the same capability with the help of open source platforms and bring down the bill of material to enhance the capability of usage of the platforms. At the same time, we can use the state of the art technologies nowadays, recent developments, to make it much better than technology which we developed 10 years back. Certainly, toolboxes based on Linux operating system, Python, TensorFlow, and other toolboxes, along with the IoT hardwares available in the market, nowadays are enabling to develop state-of-the-art remotely monitoring and controlling RO or recycling and water purification plant very speedily and in a short amount of time. I believe recent developments and availability of these platforms and toolboxes would certainly change our lives and development cycles of any product. Next, I will be talking about design and selection of online sensor solutions for water treatment systems. This water treatment system is associated with one of the project activity of Smart Water Grid, which was designed, developed, installed, and commissioned in our CSIR city. The project titled was IoT enabled priority based smart water distribution network system for community usage. We considered three parameters before designing the smart water network. The first parameter category was based on water quality. What are the water quality parameters which we have to take into consideration? Conductivity is the main parameter, pH, then turbidity, and then other factors come into the picture. Other factors or other parameters associated are nitrates, temperature, dissolved oxygen, fluoride, and bacterial load. Important parameters, as I mentioned earlier, are TDS, conductivity, pH, and turbidity. Controlling parameters are associated with flow pressure, filtration, temperature level, valve condition, pump controls, treatment of UV for the bacteria to attain the bacterial challenges, and any triggers needed. Process conditions, it would be consisting of different set points associated with pressure and flow. Any purification and recycling plant, these are the key process parameters we have to take into consideration: pressure and flow, water pressures for RO membrane, UV exposure, leakages, source water level, efficiency, condition of various subsystems, hydraulic conditions, stress and corrosion. This is the basic block diagram of the smart water grid, which is consisting of water purification system based on RO membranes, filters, and UV treatment. Incorporation of various technologies, state-of-the-art technologies of control and instrumentation along with the IoT and machine learning techniques for data processing. These technologies are consisting of data acquisition, integration of sensor networks, smart meters, smart pipes, smart pumps, smart valves, data dissemination using the technologies of internet and Wi-Fi, data processing and storage. It would be involving well-known machine learning, AI, and cloud computing, management and control. It is based on SCADA and PLCs, hydraulic modeling and analytics, using EPANET and other well-known softwares, monitoring for detection, localization of the leakages, visualization and decision support. So with these technologies of water purification and recycling, filters, state-of-the-art instrumentation and control technologies, one can solve challenges of plant health monitoring, leakage detection, decision-based, data-driven based decision making for controlling the water supply in the water supply network, water quality management, and overall water purification to the supply network. This is the setup of the peak of smart water grid which we have in our CSIR series. It is consisting of two-layer structure, pipe structure with various sensors and actuators fitted onto them. Various equipments and say sensors and actuators fitted onto the pipe network are mentioned here in table. Pressure transmitters, temperature, ultrasonic flow meters, electromagnetic flow meters, vibration sensors, level sensors, valves, PIV valves, solar operated flow meters. This is the close view of the various devices fitted onto the pipeline structure of the smart water grid. If you see the bottom peak, it is showing a layer of flow meters, ultrasonic flow meters, which is emulating the meters, water meters needed for billing generation of the or making of the billing system automatically. So we can have sensors to record the usage of the water, and we can develop algorithm and associate with the cost of the usage of the water, and we can make a billing system automatic and send it to the end user. Other devices fitted onto the two-layer architecture of the pipe network are shown here or given in the table, like TDS sensors, pH, turbidity, SCADA and PLC mechanism, tanks and pumps. So this is the capability or experimental setup test rig which we have in the form of IoT enabled smart water network in our laboratory, which is enabling not only to study, model and simulate the water supply network, but whatever we perform as a simulation study, we can implement and test robustly in our laboratory with the help of this experimental setup. Now I'll be talking about the next project activity, which is associated with the AI controlled linear displacement actuator based on thermoresponsive smart materials. It is SMILDAS. It was a sponsored project under CSIR mission, and it was performed by two organizations. The leading organization CSIR AMPRI held in Bhopal and CSIR CIRI. AMPRI team developed SMA actuator, smart materials actuator, and CSIR CIRI team indigenously developed AI controlled electronic hardware for operation of the smart material based actuator. These actuators are mainly replacing the motors which are needed for making of the linear movements. Let me give you one example. Linear movement is needed in 3D printer, which has to be controlled very precisely and accurately for printing the 3D model in or with the help of 3D printer. So we developed this technology for the alignment of 3D printer head for one of the Hyderabad based industry under the CSIR mission. So this was the objective of the project, smart material based AI position control linear displacement actuator system. These were the major tasks and works which we considered for the project. Development of current control electronic circuit for hitting the SMA actuators for signal conditioning and input control. Testing the hardware, analysis of generated data to find out the characteristics and behavior of SMA based actuator, model development, implementation of control strategies at primary level. This is the heating model and their specifications which we developed in our CSIR series for controlling the SMA actuator. These are the few of the improvements in SMA actuator driver board which we considered and made during the development cycle. This peak shows SMA actuator fitted with the sensor for detection, LVDT sensor for detection of the position. The main idea over here, or the main purpose over here of development of AI controlled SMA actuator was to make a system sensorless. For any actuator, feedback is essential. And with this small low cost actuator, if we use costly sensors, it is not feasible. To overcome this challenge, our team used electrical and mechanical parameters of the actuator itself to record and measure the displacement with the help of AI technique, which was enabled us to make the system sensorless and generate the control action based on the AI techniques. So this LVDT is used during the experimental purpose only, and subsequently, while fitting the actuator onto the 3D printer, only our electronics and actuator were fitted with the help of self-sensing capability and AI-based control action. So this is the block diagram of the experimental setup, which is based on data acquisition, PC, driver circuit, and SMA wire actuators, and their specifications are mentioned over here. A complete setup is shown over here for experimenting data generation, training using the AI technique, developed AI techniques for generation of the control action, and making the measurements for fulfilling the sensorless development of the SMA actuator. These are the specifications of the DAC system and data generation. During the development cycle, we perform various analysis techniques on the data to find out the characteristics and behavior of SMA-based actuator. These SMA actuators behave in such a way that on excitation, they expands, and after removing the excitation, they contracts. But while performing these actions, they exhibit hysteresis, and exactly their exhibition of hysteresis is the challenge for the research. And our team in Siri, we developed AI controlled mechanism to compensate the hysteresis, which was transforming the SMA actuator from austenite to martensite and martensite to austenite phases, and eliminated and normalized the hysteresis curve. These are the few of the plots of the data acquired for different measurements needed for the development of AI controlled actuator. The first one is temperature measurement, second one is resistance measurement, and third one is displacement measurement. These are the PWM signals generated for the SMA actuators, and observed hysteresis between displacement and current are shown over here on this slide. These are the necessary improvements in software which we perform for improvement of the data circuits. As I mentioned earlier, any research requires modeling and simulation. Yes, for SMA actuator, we perform modeling and simulation with the help of thermal modeling, and their modeling stages are given here. These are based on electrical current, wire temperature, austenite traction, and mechanical strain. These thermal modeling were implemented and simulated in MATLAB software to observe the characteristics of the SMA actuator, their hysteresis curves, and model them with the help of AI controlled actuators. Two models our team proposed. One of our scientist, Samar Singh, who developed this AI controlled indigenously in CSIR Siri. The first model he proposed was based on single layer architecture consisting of resistance difference, single layer RNN, and displacement. The next model he proposed was based on intercoupled RNN, which is taking into consideration SMA actuators two wire intercoupling their parameters, and the RNN parameters are tuned in such a way that both effects of two wires, SMA wires fitted onto the actuator, are reflected into the development of the proposed RNN architecture to derive the displacement parameter. This is the result of the comparison of the single layer RNN and the proposed model. And from these experimental observations, it was observed that proposed model is outperforming as compared to the single layer architecture. Dear friends, I have given you few highlights of research which we perform, research labels which we perform in our laboratory in the perspective of modeling simulation and model development, their implementation, and robust testing in our laboratory. Here onwards, the technology development, prototype development begins. And in the next AI mission project, our team proposed to develop the prototype technology of the 3D printer model with interfaced with indigenously developed SMA actuator and AI controlled linear displacement sensor. Now let's come to the last assistive technology project which we are working in our laboratory. It is associated with making the low power electric vehicle for outdoor mobility of differently able persons. The project was sponsored by DST as well as under CSIR mission. And few of the activities which we perform, I'm sharing with you, not the complete one, due to few of the IP and copyright limitations. One of the studies which we performed in our laboratory was parameter estimation and comparative analysis of control design techniques for BLDC motor. As all of you are aware, BLDC motors available in the market are mainly imported from China. The main challenge with these motors while designing any control system is associated with having the motor parameters. These Chinese motors, they don't provide any manual, their motor parameters. Only option remains to derive these motor parameters by performing experiments in our laboratory. We searched Indian manufacturer for procuring these BLDC motors, but we couldn't get any Indian manufacturer who can have our specified rated BLDC motor available with them. If it is available, its cost is high as compared to the available motor in the market. So our team decided to derive the parameter of the procured motor from the market and let us design the control system. So what were the steps which we used to derive the parameters and design the control techniques? I'll be sharing with you. This is the mathematical model of the hub BLDC motor, which is consisting of internal resistance, back EMF, and inductance, which is associated with the currents and their phases, 3-phase currents and 3 phases. The loop equation is given as V is equals to Ri plus L di by dt plus C, and torque equations were considered to derive. Torque equations and loop equations were used in Laplace domain to derive the transfer function of the BLDC of motor for applying the control technique. The input and output parameters are considered, motor parameters are considered, or derived parameters are considered in this equation. These are the parameters which we derived in our laboratory. These parameters are of BLDC of motor of 250 watt, and their parameters are stator resistance, stator inductance, moment of inertia, friction coefficient, torque constant, and back EMF constants. These values are derived experimentally in our laboratory. And another aspect which we worked on was associated with deriving the gear ratio for obtaining the speed of the BLDC motor. These BLDC motors are coming with internal planetary gearbox, and we have to take into consideration its internal gear ratio while deriving the speed measurement. So we performed two experimentations deriving the gear ratio and another parameter estimation before designing the control system. This is the control and simulation results of the open loop and closed loop response of the mathematical model, which we derived with the help of estimated parameters, and their KP, K, and KD values are given over here for closed loop and open loop response. Then subsequently, we develop normal PID, genetic algorithm, and fuzzy tuning PID based algorithms, control design techniques onto the physical model of the BLDC motor. And this is the simulating model of the simulated physical BLDC model implemented in MATLAB Simulink. It has given interface to the commutation logic, three-phase inverter, converter, and controller. It is also interfaced with the torque sensors, speed sensor, and application of the torque onto the BLDC, simulated BLDC motor, and performing various measurements with the help of the different capabilities of the Simulink models. We use this model along with the mathematical model for development of the control design techniques. Fuzzy controller was also designed and tested with the mathematical model and physical model, and their results are observed and recorded in the laboratory. Step response comparison of the four algorithms proposed were shown over here. Normal PID, it is the speed versus time response, and then second one is the self-tuning fuzzy PID response. Third one is the LQR cost function with genetic algorithm, and last one is the cost function 2 with the genetic algorithm. These algorithms of the control design were simulated, implemented, and tested in the MATLAB, and their observations were recorded for torque versus speed. And by applying the conditioned load torque for maximum current, voltage, and torque effort required by each controller while handling sudden load and behavior while tracking reference speed. And from this study and modeling and simulation work, it is observed that fuzzy PID is the best control system while handling maximum current, voltage, and torque effort while applying the sudden load, and which is giving the good results for handling high power, high torque, and high speed control needed for the BLDC motor as compared to the other proposed control techniques. This is the electronics which we developed in our laboratory for controlling of the BLDC motor, and their results are shared over here. So why we design control system BLDC motor only for research purpose in laboratory? No, it is needed by the underprivileged category of people. I remember one of the quote mentioned by Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. We should develop high-end technologies for poor people. There are high-end technologies for good people, or say normal middle class and above people. Then low-end technologies for poor people, but a researcher must focus on developing high-end technologies for underprivileged and poor people, which will give you much more satisfaction in the perspective of societal development. This is the video I am sharing with you of the testing of the hub BLDC motor in our laboratory. You can see developed electronic controller is fitted with the, or is interfaced with the BLDC hub motor, and the motor is fitted in one of the fields. Now it is the closed loop of the speed of the BLDC hub motor. It is the lab testing which we perform based on our laboratory development. And in the another video, if you see the person, the challenges which he is facing, how much effort and pain he is having in his hand while pedaling. So our research is, as I mentioned earlier, development of the assistive technologies for the underprivileged category of the people, that is differently able people, we are working hard to develop various devices, prototypes needed for these to make their life easy for outdoor as well as indoor mobility, especially uh, those people who are riding with lots of efforts and pain on different road conditions, and for not only for outdoor mobility as well as for the indoor mobility. These are our recent publications on AI models for SMA actuators, development of current, speed, and torque measurements for the low power electric vehicles, and leak detection in smart water distribution network. These are few of the awards which our students received in IET NTPC competition, technical research paper competition. The paper titled "Using EPANET and Deep Learning to Predict and Localize Leaks in Smart Water Grids" won second prize in IET NTPC 2020 competition. Students were from BITS Pilani, Anirudh, and Ganesh. The paper titled "Development of Control of E-Trike for Specially Abled Persons Using Advanced Control System" won third prize in IET and TPC 2020 competition. Students were from BITS Pilani. The students work on series projects on water grid and control system and participated in NTPC and IET NTPC competition, and all students were work from home. They had not come physically and work together in our laboratory, and just see the quality of the work, the skills, methods, and techniques which they developed, delivered in the contribution of the project work, as well as they won prizes in the national level IET NTPC research, technical research paper competition. CSI SIRI ACG group welcomes faculties, students to contribute in the ongoing research projects in SIRI. Your offline online contribution in research is highly welcomed. With this, I am Bhav Saib. Over to you, Pravinji, for question and answers.
Thank you, sir. I request all the participants, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Is it possible to turn on cameras?
Yes, sir. Now it is possible. Yes.
Shall I unshare my slide and?
Yes, sir. Yes. Please unshare your slide. Please.
I am yes. Now I am able to. Great.
Yes. To all the participants, I have given a right to unmute yourself. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can directly ask to our expert speaker.
I request participant to tell their name and organization and a question. I would be very happy to answer their question and queries.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm Dr. Rajesh Srivastava from Gitanjali College, Hyderabad.
Yes, Rajesh ji.
Yeah, sir.
Go ahead.
My question is that, sir, whatever project you are discussing, water leakage and alignment, so they are very much a real-time kind of project. And if we use deep learning or machine learning models, so they are basically the offline models. So in the real time, how we can manage the things, we can figure out the water leakage at the spontaneously, and how to figure out and how the actuators are doing without delaying, because if delay, so many water leakages and the alloy disassemblement, anything can happen. So in the real world, I think it's a challenge, and how you overcome these type of things, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. It is a really amazing question. And in research and any technology development, we use TRL level, TRL, technology readiness level. Before taking any prototype or technology to the real field, there is a process TRL 3 and 4 to test it extensively in the laboratory. And for that, we need a setup. I showed you the setup of the water grid, which is installed in Siri. I agree with you. Before installing our sensor system onto the actual water supply network, it has to be tested rigorously in our laboratory, irrespective of bothering about what are the environmental conditions. Once you are confident and consistent about the working of the system in the laboratory and their observations, their accuracy, their repeatability test, their multiple prototypes testing in the laboratory, then in the TRL level 5 and 6, you have to take the system to the field. And yes, you have mentioned very nicely, that is the TRL level 5 and 6, wherein you get the confidence that now you implement the system onto the water supply network and get the data. Obviously, environmental conditions would be different, pressure conditions, flow conditions would be different, but you have to generate the data, retune the system in the field. So you cannot take and develop the system and take it to the field. It has to be tested successfully in the laboratory, record the observation, confirm the test, repeatability test, and then take it to the field. Rajesh?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
It is
yes,
the
sir.
next
Thank you.
step. It is the next step of the filter testing of the leak detection of our experimentation.
Yeah, so that is a physical challenge actually. I am also facing. I am developing one IoT testbed to figure out the lab conditions, and on the basis of that, we'll switch on the ACs and lights. But the real time, it's too difficult to manage the thing.
You have to accept
Experimentally, we can
challenge.
achieve.
You have to accept the
Yeah,
real-time challenge, generate the data, start generating the data with 2 nodes, 3 nodes, and then subsequently in a staggered manner, you grow it. But beginning is very important. Beginning of
yeah.
generating the data, either in the laboratory as well as in the field, is very, very important. And it is recommended in any standard of TRL to perform the experimentations and observations in laboratory to get you confidence and consistency before taking it to the fields. But at the same time, you should not waste your time to take it to the field. Once your prototype is ready, test it. Take 2, 3 rounds of 5 rounds of test in your laboratory, and then immediately take it to the field. Your laboratory test would take lesser time as compared to the field test. Let me give you one example. If your laboratory test requires 5 days of the testing, observations, recording, then in field you may require 4 to 5 times more days to perform the experimentation. 5 days in the field, you will require 20 to 25 days. The challenges are different. You have to take care of the challenges of the internet connectivity. You have to take care of the challenges of the power. You have to take care of the assembling of the devices onto the pipeline. There are many challenges.
Good
I hope
afternoon.
I have answered your question.
So, this is Dr. Urmila Patel from DY Patel. Can I ask the question?
Yes, sure.
Sir, you have explained the designing of the artificial nose. We are working on the similar project with our medical institute. So the problem we are facing is the selection of the sensors and the sensitivity that is required. So can you please explain the selection of the sensors while designing the artificial nose?
Let me share you one experience which I was facing during my PhD. I was also in an intent that gas sensor would work as similar to the LM35 temperature sensor, but it is not the case. They
Yes.
are highly non-selective sensors, non-responsive sensors, and we have to take the advantage of the characteristics of the gas sensor, and we have to make an array of gas sensors and record the signature of odor pattern or smell pattern of that gas sensor array. We use Figaro gas sensors. Those sensors are more reliable as compared to the available low-cost sensors in the market. So you directly procure them from Figaro. Those are reliable. To begin with, you can start. To begin with, you can have 4-5 sensors, array gas sensor, and then subsequently you can have 12 number of sensors, 80 number of sensors based on the odor pattern you are generating. Use reliable sensors for research purpose, I am suggesting.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
There
sir.
are electrochemical sensors also available from Figaro. You can use along with your gas sensors for generating the odor pattern.
Okay. So
Okay, great.
both the performance can be compared and then the better one can be selected.
Absolutely correct. Research level, you take, my submission to all of you is that for research level, you go for reliable devices and components. Low cost sensors and devices won't give you data which is reliable and internationally acceptable.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, electrochemical
If
sensors, because we are going to apply it or we use it with the human beings. So are they, do they have any side effects or anything hazardous impact on the human body?
I have not used electrochemical sensors from Figaro, but they are small in size and portable. You have to check their manual and data sheets for their usage with human being. There are standards mentioned along with them.
Okay, sir. It is Figaro, no? You say.
Figaro, Figaro.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
It is
Thank
Japanese
you,
company.
sir.
Okay, great.
Thank you
Next
very much.
question, please.
Thank you, sir. Any other participant would like to ask a question? Sir, I have a few questions in the chat. Let me ask these
Chat
questions.
box. Okay, please,
Sir,
please.
yeah.
Take
The
one
question
by
is,
one. We have another 8 minutes, or we can extend by 5 to 10 minutes. No problem.
yes, sir. Yeah. The question is, in the development of automation processes, whether we have to focus on the sensor side or on a controller side.
It is a very insightful question. I would suggest to focus on controller side, which is the heart of the system. Sensor, if you ask me, yes, sensor is needed in the perspective of accuracy and reliability. Accuracy is needed at the time of generation of the control, sampling rate and accuracy of the sensor. These two aspects are needed, which is the capability of the engineer to bring in the accuracy in the sensor and sampling rate. But the controller is the important part. At what instance of moment you are generating the control and what kind of control is very important. This is my perspective about the controller and automation side.
Okay, sir. The other question is, nowadays people are already talking about the IoT, machine learning, everything. As a researcher for us students, is it possible to learn all these technologies?
It is really exciting question. Many platforms, hardware platforms and development platforms are available in the market. I would suggest all the students to focus on invention. We started our first session, invention, reinvention, wherein you have to bring in invention in research, which would give you more return of investment as compared to the assembling in India. If you use hardware available in the market, toolboxes available in the market, and connecting sensors and getting the dashboard ready in 15 to 20 days, it is not going to fulfill our purpose. Bring in innovation with available tools to get more return of investment. This is what my submission about the design and development. Let me give you one example. All of you are aware E is equals to mc square. It is a simple equation, but what kind of importance it has? I request all the students to bring in any kind of equation. In the beginning, It may not be acceptable. People will say, hey, what are you are saying here? This equation, it is not going to work. Don't worry about their perspective. You focus on your perspective. Encourage student to bring in science, engineer that device, work around its accuracy, make a model, implement it, test it, bring in its USP in the product. What is the uniqueness in your product? That has to be, that kind of learning, teachings has to be given to the student. It is very easy. You know, 6th standard, 4th standard students, they are using Arduino, interfacing temperature sensor, making the smart homes. It is assemble only. I request all faculty members to convey my message to all students to bring in science, bring it, reinvent it. If you want to grow in next 5 to 10 years, use these technologies as a tool for enriching, growing your science, not to use and become yourself as a slave. You are master. You use them as a tool to develop and invent your products, which has unique selling price, unique selling proposition in the market. What is the uniqueness? This is my perspective about the question. What do you say?
Thank you, sir. So I'm over with the questions. Is there any participant who would like to ask the question? They can unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll stop or we'll end this session. Okay, sir. I think there is no question from the participants. So thank you, Dr. Bhavsai Bothre, sir, for delivering a nice. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm very much grateful to your trustees, college trustees, principals, Mani sir, Dr. Praveen, and all your organizing committee and staffs for giving me this opportunity to speak on research, innovations, technology development, and building trust. I believe all of you will get these skills, methods, and techniques, and transform these things to your students, convey these things to your students to build new Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you so much to the organizing committee and all the staffs. Over to you, Praveen.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So actually, it's our pleasure that you have accepted our invitation and deliver this talk. I hope this is going to be helpful for all the participants. Whatever the work that you have shown, the way you did it, and the different ways and technology that you have used in your projects, that may also help the participants to go through their research work. So with this, I would like to thank all the participants. Now, with the permission of the chair, I would like to say this session is over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you please tell me how the attendance will be counted for this session?